YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and the NBA playoffs start today. So I had to hurry up and get this predictions video done before it all gets going here. Really excited for some playoff sports, really, in general. But you guys can actually join in and make your predictions as well for free. There'll be a link down in the description and in the comments. You can join the Goat House group, and the winner will give free Discord access to. A lot of football chat going on in there. So really excited to get this going. And honestly, going into this video, I am still on the fence on who I got winning. I'm back and forth between a few teams here. So it's going to be a fun playoffs. Even though it's in the bubble, it's going to be really exciting because multiple teams, I think several teams, actually have a shot to win here. Before we get started, we have a 60K subscriber goal. If you're new, we have a lot of NFL content on our main channel over there, the Goat House, but 2 channels. Please subscribe to both. Again, full NFL coverage throughout the whole season. Follow that Twitter for updates on games and breaking news of the NFL and for the channel. And then we have a podcast as well. Link down in the description, the comments for anything that you may need there. But back to the predictions. This prediction site is just straight off the NBA website. And again, there'll be a link down below for what you can choose there. But we're moving on to the Lakers versus the Blazers here. And Dame's been ridiculous lately. The best player in the bubble so far. Could be the best point guard in all of basketball. But I got to go with the Lakers here. I'm going to go LA in 5. Dame's probably going to go off pretty much every game here, but I think he can pretty much take over and win them at least one game here. He does have some help from CJ McCollum. Their offense isn't the problem, really. The defense, I can't really trust against LeBron James, against Anthony Davis mainly. That could be the mismatch problem, though. Blazers' bigs are pretty good on offense, however. But I got the Lakers winning in 5 there. And then we got the Rockets and the Thunder. It's going to be a really good series, I actually think. Thunder were kind of surprising this year. This is a pretty good matchup for both teams, I think. Why? Because they're both pretty guard heavy. I think OKC's bigs can play a pretty good series. I think the Rockets kind of missing Clint Capella actually could be noticeable in not just this series, but in the playoffs. But they're both guard heavy. Their best players are guards, and that's why I got to go with the Rockets in this series. I'm going to go 6, though. I think the Thunder get 2 off. Chris Paul versus the Rockets can be very interesting, to say the least. But, I got to go with Harden and Westbrook. I think it's a guard battle. The Rockets will be better in that category, which will win them. But OKC's bigs could make the difference here. But then we'll see the Lakers and the Rockets in the next round. The Nuggets and the Jazz. I like both these teams. They're both pretty balanced, pretty complete. I think the Nuggets more so there. Donovan Mitchell is obviously clearly the guy that leads the way for the Jazz, but they got some other big-time players. It's not ridiculous where Mitchell's got to carry them like a lot of other teams here in the NBA, but I got to go with the Nuggets in this one. Another one, I'm going to go 6. Jazz can sneak away with 2 games here. But the Nuggets, I like this Nuggets team a lot. Very complete. They don't have to rely on one guy. They got several guys throughout the whole lineup, and now they had Michael Porter Jr., who's really getting going in the bubble, so that's fantastic. You got to respect how they completely build this team across the board. Most teams are going for, you can't really blame them, but going for like the 1, 2, or 3 superstar players to try to carry them. And the Nuggets, it's a likable team, and for me at least. The Clippers and Mavericks, obviously Clippers could be an elite team here, definitely a contender. The Mavericks, that's a sneaky team to play in the first round, with their duo of Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. They can. Oh, this is tough. I got the Clippers. Let's just get straight to it. I got the Clippers. Too much star power there, and even though they got the Kawhi Leonard, Paul George at the top, but it feels like they don't really carry. They have a pretty. I don't want to say those guys do carry the load a little bit, but they got a pretty solid squad, so they're not relying on 1 or 2 guys. But I'm taking the Clippers, but figuring out what to. I'm gonna go 5. The Mavs could win more than one. That's a tough one. It's I wouldn't say easy, but it's close to easy picking who the winner is. But actually picking on what it'll go to is pretty tough. The Buffs and the Bucks and the Magic there. The Magic got a little sneaky last year. But I'm going the Bucks in 4. It's a dominant team. It seems like the chemistry. You think that it's a team that has the chemistry down like a couple years ago, but it seems like it's getting better and better. The Middleton and Giannis connection there, and right now Antetokounmpo might just be the best player in basketball, and we're going to see if he can continue to be that in the playoffs. The Magic, another team that they don't have to rely on one guy, but the Bucks are just much better. It's offensively, defensively for this game, so I got to go with the Bucks. Pacers, Heat. This is the game that I am looking forward to the most in the first round. The Rockets and the Thunder definitely up there for sure. But the Pacers and the Heat, 4-5. The seeding doesn't really matter there. Obviously, they were both locked in for it, so it doesn't really matter. The 4 next to the Pacers doesn't really tell us that they're that much better. Obviously, I think everyone knows that. But this is gonna be a battle here, and this is so tough. I've changed my mind on this one. Actually, I'm a huge Jimmy Butler fan, huge Jimmy Butler guy. I'll be rooting for him. I'm actually gonna go with the Pacers though. This game's going to 7. I'm going with the Pacers. I think they're more complete. I think they got T.J. Warren going. Let's see if he can continue. That's what I'm a little worried about. Can he continue to kind of roll here? We've seen the Heat kind of slow them down. Last week, slow him down last week. To stop his 30-point plus game streak. Why the Pacers though? Victor Oladipo is just getting going, and I think that's the key. I think a guy like Miles Turner, their bigs could actually play very well in this game. It's tough. It's tough. I'm a big Jimmy Butler guy. It's tough going against him, and I think his defense and he could step up into playoffs too and take the next step because he's that good of a player, possibly a top 10 player in the NBA. I think the Pacers got more. I really think they got more. Oladipo, Brogdon, Miles Turner, T.J. Warren. I think Oladipo's got more in him too, which is more of a warm up. This has just been a warm up for him. And he's very clutch too, a very solid, underrated player. I'm gonna go the Pacers in 7. I've been saying the Heat for some time now in that one because we knew this was gonna be the series, so it might come back to bite me there to switch that one. But I like this Pacers team. It's a sneaky team here. The Celtics and the Sixers. The problem with the Sixers, obviously Ben Simmons being out, he's done, and a very good player. And my problem in the past always with the Sixers, very good team, thought they would go far, but why can't they get over the hump, or I won't predict them to get over that next hump, maybe the Eastern Conference Finals. I feel like Ben Simmons is a really good player. They don't have a true point guard, though. I'm a big believer in having an actual point guard out there, maybe the most important position in football. Or in basketball, excuse me. We cover so much football here. I'm just going to keep saying football probably. But, and it wouldn't be that big of a loss. It's a big loss. It's Ben Simmons. He's a really good player. But it wouldn't be that huge of a loss if they had, a legit point guard to step up. They got some guys to step up, but it's weak. It's kind of weak depth there in that department. They have some good players, don't get me wrong. But this is going to be tough. Celtics, another one of those bounce teams. My problem with the Celtics, they're kind of all over the place sometimes. I don't know. I like the balanced teams, but I don't know who the guy is to kind of. It's got to be Tatum, but it feels like, those guys think they get in the groove and they just take some ridiculous shots sometimes. I think they need to spread the ball out a little more. Now I know if you're hot, but a pretty good young balanced team. I like the Celtics in this one. Ben Simmons being out, not having really the depth. We'll say 5. The Sixers have some talent to get to take it to 6, but Celtics feel like they're rolling right now. The Raptors and the Nets would be a different story if some certain superstars were playing for the Nets there, especially Kyrie. We know KD wasn't an option, but they're playing pretty well. Given that they don't have those guys. But the Raptors, so impressive this year. We thought they would take a step down because no Kawhi Leonard, but great coaching, great balance across the board. Siakam's been ridiculous. Kyle Lowry knowing he has to step up. I'm going to go with the Raptors here. It could go to 5. I'm going to go 4, though. And now we're on the next round. The Lakers, the Rockets. Anthony Davis is going to, LeBron's still the best player on the floor. Anthony Davis is going to tear the Rockets apart. That big mismatch is going, and then LeBron's going to tear them up too, but that goes without saying. It's going to be a sweep, I think. I think it's just a terrible matchup, and the Lakers are the better team here. Nuggets, Clippers. The Clippers got a tough road, actually. The Mavs aren't easy. But again, I like this Nuggets team. They don't have to rely on one guy. They got guys that can take over. They got straight balance across the board. They built this thing right. Maybe they're not quite ready yet. Can they slow down Kawhi and Paul George? They could perhaps, and a guy like Jokic could be the difference. The big that could dominate this series could be the difference. I like the Nuggets team, but I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I'm gonna say 6. The Nuggets can get 2. I'm hyping up this Nuggets team. I still go the Clippers. I just think the Clippers they got that experience. They got those veterans, the superstar veterans to win now. That's kind of how the NBA works, obviously. The Nuggets could be real sneaky, though. I like that team. So we see the Lakers, the Clippers onto the Western Conference Finals, what we all want for the most part, unless you're a big fan of the other teams, of course. The Bucks and the Pacers. Again, the Pacers are pretty balanced across the board. They got some guys that can take over. Oladipo can take that next step. He's just getting warmed up. I just think the Bucks are going to be too much for them. The only concern with the Bucks, and they've been better shooting, but obviously there's better teams shooting than them. They're a top tier contender, potentially an elite team. There are better teams shooting, so that's where you want them to step up. But offensively, they're still, even though they don't have that outside shooting that maybe the Pacers have, they are still better offensively. We know they're better defensively. We see Brogdon going against the Bucks. That's a guy that can get hot shooting for sure, and could be an X factor in this series. But I'm gonna go the Bucks. I'm gonna go 6, actually. I think the Pacers can sneak 2 games away there. This is going to be a really good series. The Celtics and the Raptors. On paper, it feels like the Celtics probably should be better, but the Raptors, again, both teams are well coached, but so well coached. They got those veterans. They got the experience. The experience could be the difference in this one. I think this is going to be a really good series. And a guy like Jason Tatum could really start to take off, around, we know how good he is already, but staying consistent and showing us, that he could be a star here. Here's his chance, and I think he can play, I think he could dominate a series like this, but I'm going to go with the experience here. I'm going to go 7. I think it's that close, so that'll be a great series. Then we move on to, we got one, kind of boring. We got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, but the Heat, I have the Heat out in the first round. They could actually make it to this point. The Pacers can do it. The Celtics can do it. On the West, I think the Nuggets, pretty sneaky. But Lakers, Clippers, I am still on the fence on this. I'm still on the fence. There's something that was interesting. You cannot base really anything at all on this, but the first game of the bubble, I was looking forward to that because we can just see guys that are just straight ballers. That's the way I like to put it, that the rust doesn't matter. They come out and ball. It actually looked like LeBron James was a little rusty there, and they still won the game. It doesn't mean a whole lot for, all the way down to the conference finals here, the semifinals here in the NBA playoffs. That doesn't really mean much, but that's something that stands out. Something else is, the Lakers actually have had a better away record this year. Obviously, part of the season was when there was actually a home run away, and part of the series was, or the season was the bubble, obviously. But I like that a lot, because nobody's home here. So a team that doesn't really need to rely on the home court advantage. So that's a small thing. It's so close to go either way that I'm looking for small things. And I think LeBron James will dominate this series. I'm going to go with the Lakers in 7. I've been changing my mind on that one like crazy. Beginning of the year, I picked the Clippers to win it all. So I'm actually changing my mind here, and I don't know. That's why this is going to be so fun, because it's a toss-up. The Bucks and the Raptors. This could be good, too. A lot of people picking the Raptors here probably because of experience. Maybe they're doubting the Bucks outside shooting a bit, perhaps even though it's gotten better. Again, I think the chemistry of the team has gotten better. Even though you think should already have been at the top. I really think Middleton could be a factor. He's getting better and better every step of the way. I think it kind of goes unnoticed. But Giannis is going to be the problem mainly in this. I got to go with the Bucks. It could go to 7. I'm going to go the Bucks in 6. And now we're on to the finals. Lakers, Bucks. Again, I've been back and forth on Lakers, Clippers. I think most of us out there have been. The Lakers and the Bucks, though, with this specific matchup, again, I've been kind of back and forth on this too, and I'm almost deciding on the spot here. I'm gonna go with my gut here. I don't know what my gut's telling me. I've been, oh man, give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks in 7. Give it to me. Oh, we're getting blocked there. There we go. Bucks in 7. I'll probably change my mind throughout the playoffs. That's just how good this playoffs is going to be, though. I hope at least. There's no guarantee. I don't see a lot of people picking the Bucks out there. I think a lot of people, I think the Bucks have a little easier of a run. That kind of helps. I mean, the Pacers aren't easy, the Raptors aren't easy, but the Lakers got to play the Clippers or the Nuggets, and I guess you can argue that. But I'm gonna go the Bucks in 7. I think Antetokounmpo is just too dominant right now. I think LeBron James, you could argue, is the best player in basketball. But I think there are times where even his cold games are still pretty good. But there's times where he could get kind of cold, and and Anthony Davis being that dominant big could be the difference, because there's very few dominant bigs in today's NBA, and that could be the difference there. And that could even for like the Nuggets with Jokic, the Raptors with Siakam, and like I said, Miles Turner could be turning it up in Indianapolis there. Or in the bubble from the Pacers there, and that could be the difference here. I just think Giannis is not a guy that's going to get cold. This team's not a team that's going to get cold. They consistently play great offense and consistently play great defense. And even though we all know it's an offensive league. We all know there's the defense these days is way weaker than it was. I think these guys are very capable. That's the difference. I think these guys are very capable of playing a lot better defense. The game's just changed so much. But with all that being said, an offensive league, an offense that wins championships, at the same time, that team that plays that best defense, it could be the difference there, because there's a lack of defense. So a team that actually steps up and slows that team, like the Lakers, down from scoring that many points, that could be the difference here. The defense could actually win. It's most people probably aren't thinking that, but I think the defense in a series like this could actually be the reason the Bucks or whoever win the championship. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I can't make up my damn mind though. Preseason, I had the Clippers. Since the NBA restarted, or we heard it was gonna restart, even when it ended, I was going with the Lakers, and now I'm shifted towards the Bucks, and we're gonna see. It's gonna be ridiculous. I'm excited. Yeah, again, first round hasn't even started yet. About to start today. Excited for the Pacers Heat. Another one I'm back and forth on. I'm excited. I'm a Bulls fan, so we'll get that out of the way. Unfortunately, maybe that's why I like Jimmy Butler. So you probably figured that out. But I like the Nuggets. I like this Nuggets team. I'm not a Nuggets fan, so I root for everybody. I like Damian Lillard a lot. I'll root for everybody. So I'm just really excited to watch some good sports, some playoff basketball here. So again, you guys could sign up as well. And let me pop this up here. I'm having some struggles. You guys can sign up as well. The link is in the description to join this. You make your picks. The winner will get Discord access. We'll talk about all that on Twitter as well. Keep you guys updated. So you're going to want to follow that. Link in the description, comments for that as well. Full NFL coverage here. We have 2 channels. Please subscribe to both. Join us for the NFL season. We're very excited for that. No one covers it like us. So and smash that like button if you enjoyed. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.